Welcome to Coaching for Creatives with Kirsten. My name is Kirsten Call. I'm a therapist-trained life coach and a children's book author. Together, we'll get the drama out of our lives and onto the page. Let's get started. You are listening to episode 84, Networking for Introverts. Last week, I drove to New York City to go to a prospect agency soiree. I've gone to this soiree every year for a while now. We did take a few years off for COVID, but it's an incredible party where prospect agency clients and agents mingle with editors. Authors bring their books, illustrators bring their art and books. We eat pizza and there's a bar with all sorts of drinks. It's the ideal situation, right? For an extrovert, maybe. Most of us writers and editors, too, I suspect, are introverts. This feels like a high-pressure situation, right? Perhaps if I have a good conversation with an editor, they might be willing to read my book. They might even decide to buy it. As an introvert myself, and after years of experience at conferences and soirees, I've got several tricks for working a crowd like this. Here they are. Number 1, be yourself. I love wearing literary clothing. I have gloves and scarves and dresses and skirts and leggings and jewelry, all dedicated to words and books. I went to my very first SCBWI conference, which is the Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, wearing a yellow dress with a graphic print of black glasses. I accidentally discovered that wearing literary apparel to a writer's conference is one of the easiest conversation starters ever. People talked to me about my dress. I admitted to making a spectacle of myself. And the people I was with actually noticed and appreciated the pun. I found my people by simply being myself. And I didn't have to start any of the conversations. People came to me. They still come to me when I wear my literary apparel. In fact, in some of these writing conference arenas, I'm known as the book dress girl. Number 2, make a plan. For the soiree, we had a list of editors who had RSVP'd. This gave authors the opportunity to research and see who would be a good fit for their work. Someone could go to the soiree knowing exactly who they wanted to connect with. Having a plan is always helpful. This year, at the soiree, my plan was to talk to every editor at the party. And that's what I did. Even though it felt uncomfortable to introduce myself to so many strangers, I made an intentional decision to talk to editors. And that really did help me follow through. Number 3, ask people about themselves. I love learning about the projects people are working on. At a conference or soiree type event, asking people what they write or are working on is a wonderful way to get people talking about things they love. At this soiree, I asked editors what projects they were excited about working on. And if they were working on picture books, it gave me the opportunity to invite them to email me when the book is coming out so that they could be on my Picture Book Look podcast. I talked to several new editors who were so thrilled to be invited on the podcast. My podcast co-host Kim Chafee and I do have publishers and authors and illustrators reach out to us for podcast interviews, but we've never invited editors directly. It was actually a really beautiful way to connect and add value. Number 4, bring business cards. I know this may feel archaic, but I love giving and receiving business cards. At the soiree, oh my goodness, I love the word soiree. Thank goodness, because I have said it so much in this podcast already. At the soiree, I was happy I had my cards because they have pictures of my books on them. And I had forgotten to bring my actual books for the display. Whoops. So I could give someone my card, offer to interview them, and highlight their books. I also invited fellow prospect agency clients to be on the podcast. And then they had my information in their hands. When I'm at book festivals, I give people my card and tell them about how each of my books has a song on YouTube to go along with it. I mention the free things I offer, like a podcast or a YouTube song. And then perhaps someone might want to check out my books at the library or have me do a school visit or sign up for book coaching with me. Number 5, mention relevant things about yourself. It's always best to focus on other people when you're networking. That said, if they mention they live in the Boston area, and that's where you live, definitely mention it. If you have a cat and they have a cat, it's a good thing to connect over. I found myself sharing cat pictures with the Disney editor because we both have black cats. Connecting over commonalities is easy, especially if we remember it's not about us. It's about the other person. If that other person feels comfortable and listened to, they'll be more likely to reach out and think about us when they have a project that we might be interested in. Number 6, practice dauntlessness. Especially at a writing event, it's likely you're surrounded by other introverts. Most likely, they'll be thrilled and relieved when someone else approaches them and asks them questions. Even when you feel anxious or afraid, talk to people anyway. I grew up painfully shy. If you look at old videos from my childhood, you'll see me looking down, running from the camera, while my siblings' antics on camera are so hilarious. They were not afraid of the camera. When I was 14, I remember thinking it's selfish to be shy. I'm making other people and myself uncomfortable. So I started 9th grade with the goal of saying hi to 10 people I recognized every day. And it was hard. It was really hard. I had to be dauntless. I didn't want the spotlight, and saying hi made people look at me. But I did it anyway. And after a few weeks of greeting people, people started coming up to me and talking to me. Now, people would never guess I'm introverted. I call myself a closet introvert. It's one of the terms in Susan Cain's book, Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. I've trained myself to talk to people whether I'm feeling shy and introverted or not. I've practiced asking people about themselves because I truly am interested in people, even though it's still sometimes scary, especially when I'm surrounded by people I don't know. But what I do know is people respond well when we are interested in them, and we can't let our fear get in the way of connecting with other people. Which leads me to number 7. Your purpose is to connect. Go to the conference or event with the desire to connect with other people, and you will. It's about them, not about you. Conversely, if you make it only about you, if you are there only to see what you can get from other people or to see how they can help you with your career, you will miss out on true, authentic connection. And that's what life is about, right? Connection. So, as you go to your work events or writing retreats or workshops or family reunions, remember, networking is work. And it's also beautiful and organic if we allow it to be. Take deep breaths. Be dauntless. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. And allow yourself to just be you. When you are authentically you, your people will be drawn to you. And perhaps one day we'll be at the same event and we can connect over this podcast episode. Until then, keep smiling. If you like what you've heard, check out my Get Yourself Unstuck program. Go to KirstenCall.com. That's KirstenCall.com and schedule a free consultation today. Coaching for Creatives is produced by Kirsten Call. Music and audio engineering by James Call.